This episode of the Wayang Crew podcast is brought to you by Times Cineplex. Hey guys, I'm Kev.
Yo, this is Del.
I am TB.
And Zainal here.
And we are
The Wayang Crew. Oh yeah.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Wayang Crew podcast. What's up, guys? It's me, Kev, once again, talking to you on this program, which is a show where we talk about movies, especially movies that are playing here in Brunei Darussalam. Up next, it's my co-host, it's Del.
Yo.
What's up, Del?
I just tried boxing.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I'm in pain. Not because I got punched, but because I was punching.
So your fists.
No, my muscles. Like I didn't know there were muscles in this area of my arm, and there was.
Is this like an age thing?
Most people have the sports card. Del has boxing.
Yeah, this is me hitting midlife crisis.
Yeah.
All right.
Or did you just watch Rocky?
No.
He was inspired.
Yeah.
That's right.
2 years later, then I tried boxing. It was Creed, not Rocky.
All right. Up next, you've already heard him on the podcast. It's our friend of the show and friend in real life. It's Khai.
All right, guys, what's up? Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, thanks for being here. Well, the reason why you're here is because you are one of the gurus to talk to with all things comic book and comic book movies. And also...
that's why.
Yeah, and it's also...
I thought because the others were not here, so we had to fill
Kev's
in.
answer was a diplomatic one. Yours is the painfully real one.
Oh, you mean Tibi and
Tibi and
Zainal?
Zainal,
Tibi and Zainal, who are not here this week.
Yes.
So we had to find somebody to fill in.
They're overseas. They're both chasing their comedy dreams.
And we hope they do well and succeed.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. If you want to get in touch with us here on the show, you can do so via our Gmail account, which is thewayangcrew@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. And do check us out on YouTube as well. We're going to get to the first bit of the show, which is the news. And check this out, guys. Do you guys know what Kung Fury is?
I do. I've seen the short film that was made via Kickstarter.
I did not, but I've heard of the news.
Okay. Apparently, Michael Fassbender has boarded the project.
Yes.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger has recently signed on as well.
Wow.
And this is a Kickstarter thing?
This is a Kickstarter thing, which is so outrageous that I think it was the greatest thing that has ever come out of Kickstarter.
Okay. So apparently the Kickstarter campaign was a 31-minute film.
Yes.
And I had no idea about what this was. I did not have time to research and watch it. What did you think of the...
It was amazing. It was basically, so you know how the 80s was a time when things like Magnum P.I., MacGyver, Miami Vice, all these things were coming out. And
Yes.
There was a lot of cop shows on TV.
Okay.
So Kung Fury is basically the greatest cop in his precinct. And he's got an unbuttoned denim shirt because I'm sure police don't need uniform. And he's got a red bandana and he's basically just Kung Fuing it up all over town. I'm not kidding.
So it's a martial arts thing?
It's like a parody of... It's a very exaggerated version of like the classic Kung Fu TV show meeting like Miami Vice. And his partner is a cop called Dino Cop, who's an actual... No, sorry, Triceracop.
Oh.
It's a Triceratops who has been reformed and is now a police officer.
No, wait.
I'm not making this up.
So is he walking on the hind legs?
No,
Hind legs or
he's walking on two. He's walking on two legs.
2 legs.
Yeah. So Triceracop is basically always telling like Kung Fury that one day he's gonna cross the line and he's not gonna be happy. So it's supposedly deep, but it's so out there. And he finds out like this plot that goes across time.
Yeah.
So he contacted a guy called Hackerman, and Hackerman. I can't make this up, guys.
This sounds like a bad video game.
It is so good though. Like, so Hackerman hacked time and sent Kung Fury back to the age of the Amazons. And from there, he just went across time and started kicking butt. And so the bad guy was Adolf Hitler, and he was called Kung Führer.
Oh no.
You guys need to watch this.
I will check it out, but
I'm still caught up on the what was his partner's name again?
Triceracop.
Triceracop.
Cop.
So he's got a face of
he's a rehabilitated Triceratops. Yeah.
So who would Arnold Schwarzenegger be playing in this?
I don't know. It's very
Triceratops.
interesting because there was a scene with Odin, or I think Thor, one of the Norse deities. So I think Arnold will be one of them, and it's crazy. Like I can't do it justice explaining.
Okay, I will have to check this
You
film
yes.
out, and you guys listeners, check it out and let us know what you think about this. Next bit of news: Joss Whedon, who was sort of tipped to be attached to the Batgirl film, has announced that he is no longer involved in this film. We called it. Dell called it a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Did I?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think I
don't know.
Called a lot of things.
Yeah. Del, what do you think is gonna happen to me?
To you.
Yeah, you seem pretty psychic.
You will do well in the upcoming Brouhaha show.
Oh, wow. Just laying it out there. Good to know.
So apparently the Hollywood Reporter is stating that Whedon cut ties with the project after realizing he didn't know what to do with the Batgirl character.
He didn't know what to
Yeah.
do with the bat.
I don't believe...
No. See, this is
For
a
context for our listeners, this is the man who invented Buffy,
yeah.
Firefly,
Was
Dr. Hollywood's sing-along blog,
Uh-huh.
and made the first 2 Avengers movies.
Yeah. And he sort of guided, was a big part of the MCU to where it is now.
Did it have anything to do with Alias? Not him.
No, that was J.J.
JJ.
Abrams. Yes.
But he's also somebody who writes a lot of female
strong
strong
female
female characters.
Like in True Calling,
Yes.
Eliza Dushku. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
Joss Whedon is synonymous with original quality content.
Yeah.
So, Del, could you? So sorry, Kevin. Could you repeat that last line again?
All right, here's the line. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Whedon cut ties with the project after realizing he didn't know what to do with the Batgirl character.
Yeah. No, I'm not buying
Fake
it.
news?
Fake news.
He didn't know what to do with the Batgirl character in this DC universe that they are setting up.
Okay, Del. So here's the question, though: was this part of the DC universe, or is just like the Todd Phillips Joker movie that's not part of the DC universe?
No, I think this is part of the DC
You
universe.
think so?
Because otherwise they would have come out and said it like the Joker news. But they didn't, so I have to assume... And why wouldn't you put everything in one universe like the Marvel universe, which is doing so well? Because that's what they have been trying to do for DC side. But then everything keeps falling apart at this point. Every director that has signed on has signed off.
To the point where Dell is saying, you know what, DC, do whatever you want, just get it out of your system and give us something good.
It's a shame because DC Comics genuinely has great characters and great stories.
Yeah.
Like if you told me, put me in desert island situation, 5 comic books I can bring with me to read until the end of time, all DC. I can't think of a single Marvel book I would want with me on an island.
Okay.
I will tell you what DC should do right now. They should just focus on Man of Steel 2. Give us Wonder Woman 2 is already coming out.
Yes.
And then give us one good Batman. Start from there, the Trinity. Just start from there and then we see where it goes.
Okay, this next bit of news might raise your spirits up a bit, but then I think I know what Dell will say.
Okay.
Here's a report. Early test screenings of Aquaman
Right.
yields positive reactions.
From who?
Well,
Who gave?
It says here that Warner Brothers showed the film to selected invitees on its studio lot, and the reaction was a pleasant one.
Is it like the same case as BVS when they invited their own execs from the studio?
And
Dell's a
and like
savage.
friends and friends.
Yeah.
No, okay, so this is why I don't believe in early test screenings anymore. Because 2015's Fant 4 Stick was given rave reviews at early screenings.
Yep.
So I don't believe in them. Because it's this. You get to watch something before everybody else. The excitement clouds your judgment.
And it's probably free.
Yes.
Yeah.
With free popcorn in America.
And they feed you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're bound to say it's amazing.
So this is all a lie.
Yeah.
This was them. I think all these reactions were taken from them after they just stepped out of the screening. You know,
Right.
one of those...
they're still high. They're still
they're
sugar
still
high.
And one of those things where they stick the mic in your face.
So what'd you think? Oh my god, it was amazing.
And there's like a camera and like a bright light, and you're like, so what do you think of the movie? It was so good.
Yeah.
Because lest we forget, after the 1999 world premiere of The Phantom Menace, people called it better than the first 3. Lest we forget.
Really?
That's what happens, yeah. But in its defense, Aquaman has a rich, very rich story to it. Not the film.
Yeah.
The comic book
Right.
character
Yep.
Aquaman is one of the finest written characters in the history of comic books. I will defend that character.
And we are not saying that the movie sucks.
Yeah,
because
but
we
if
haven't seen
there's
it.
this microscopic chance that James Wan, who is a very talented director,
Who has done a lot of things, receive critical and fan positive
acclaim,
reviews,
yeah.
right?
Isn't he a Kuching boy?
He's
Yeah.
he's in Curtin
K-
University
KK.
in
Yeah.
Kuching. No,
Okay.
Miri.
Oh,
Miri.
Yeah.
Curtin University Miri
right.
did a twinning program in Australia
Yeah.
where he made the first Saw film.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's a good director, and I trust him to make the right calls. That's all I'm gonna say about Aquaman right now.
I just want it to be good. I just want to have another good movie to sort of build on the on the one success that they've had, which is Wonder Woman. I mean, not the best movie,
Right.
out
But
there.
it's so sad because if they're gonna reboot the universe with Flashpoint, they're gonna do recast, and then we're gonna lose this with Aquaman as well. If this Aquaman turns out to be good,
Right. That is a slippery slope, but
I have a theory.
yes.
Gal Gadot will still be Wonder Woman because Flashpoint will not affect her while she's on Themyscira. It's all shielded and stuff.
I hope you're right, because in the comic books,
and then Aquaman is just so happened to be there.
right. So the
Like
comic,
swimming there.
yeah,
swimming
in the
there.
comic book version of Flashpoint, Aquaman and Wonder Woman were supposed to form a union of the kingdoms.
As in Mary?
Yes. So what happened was Mera is Aquaman's actual love interest.
Yeah.
Was found murdered with Amazonian weapons.
Okay.
And Aquaman Atlantis declared war on Themyscira, and in the process drowned the entire world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
dark.
it's pretty brutal.
That's dark.
But the thing is, Flashpoint can only you can only appreciate it after you've read these characters for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, if they do
Because
Flashpoint...
you see the
yeah.
progression.
And then, so like, have you guys seen that animated movie, Flashpoint Paradox?
Yes.
So, Dell has, right?
Yeah.
So you know how Thomas Wayne is Batman.
Yes.
So that has a lot of impact if you've grown up with Bruce Wayne. But we've only had Bruce Wayne in 2 movies so far
Yeah.
in the DCEU.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Speaking of Bruce Wayne, that's Batman. And last week we talked about the Joker origin movie and who might be playing the Joker.
Right.
And how I still want to see a test screening of Tommy Wiseau as the Joker.
RMR. I finished The Room
Oh,
after 8 years of trying.
we'll talk about it later. The Joker origin movie is rumored to begin production this May.
Yes.
What for?
Because apparently it's not going to be in
No,
the
it's
DCEU,
part
right?
of so they're calling it the boutique line.
Oh.
Artsier, great, tight
Adidas
scripts.
original.
Sure, Dell. So yeah, they're calling it the boutique line, whereby acclaimed directors and producers can do whatever they want with these characters without having
Really? Whatever they want?
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
in this case, Martin Scorsese is attached to the project as a
Yes.
producer.
As a producer.
And, the rumblings is that Joaquin Phoenix will
Yeah.
probably be the Joker.
And this movie was confirmed by DC Chief Creative Officer Jeff Johns at a convention, where he said he would like to see the DC characters exist outside the constraints of a shared
outside
universe.
the EU.
He's no longer though. Is he?
He's
no
still in the
longer,
comic book side of the business. He's not in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
films.
No longer in the films.
No,
Yeah.
but he's still in the comic book side of the business.
So when did he say this?
Like 3 weeks
months?
ago?
3 weeks?
Yeah. No, because he's still the creative officer of the comic book side.
Yeah, but then he doesn't know what's happening in the movie world anymore.
But he would have pull. I mean, he's the...
I don't know if he has pull.
I feel like Dell and I form a
WB
very good yin and yang situation.
Yeah.
It's just that WB is
Cynicism
so...
and optimism.
Yeah.
Dell is Batman, unfortunately.
This is strange for me because usually I thought you would be
I'm
the-
very cynical. Yeah, but it's a public holiday. I'm not going to be cynical today. I'm having ice cream.
All right, speaking of cynicism, Transformers.
Oh.
Okay, apparently the cinematic universe was sort of thought to have been dropped from the Hasbro-Paramount movie slate.
Right,
Like
yes.
some news came out. But then very quickly the execs went, yeah, really? No more Transformers? I don't believe what you hear. Because
Yeah.
they've sort of reconfirmed, no, we are going to make more of these things. Bumblebee, which is slated to come out in December this year, was the untitled 6th movie. No. There is an untitled
There is an
7th
untitled-
movie
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in this franchise. What do you hope to see from...
Nothing. I don't want the film to be made. I am one of those guys that was the target market for the first Transformers film, because the story was about, high school and all that. And I was in high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I loved that first Transformers movie.
I still love it.
And I loved it so much that just to get the
You're buying the whole 4K
No, I Dell.
cinema set.
And I was really excited for the second one, and I thought it was a disappointment, and I thought, what went wrong? But the third one was not too bad. I thought the third one was quite good with Shockwave and everything.
Which one was it?
What?
The Dark of the Moon?
Yeah.
No!
Dell, compared to the second one, the third one is better.
Slightly?
Yeah, by like 5%. That's still an improvement.
Okay.
So I bought a box set of the trilogy signed by Michael Bay for like $500. And it's in my house right now, and I'm wondering why.
Let's not forget that these movies are out primarily to sell toys.
Yes.
The toys are horrible.
The toys are,
The
depending
toys
on the
today-
manufacturer. Depending on the but
They're too complex.
Yeah.
Like I look at it, I'm like, I don't want to disassemble him. I don't want to transform him.
I don't.
Because I don't know if I can get him to come back as a truck.
You guys have seen The Last Night, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Why?
I don't know.
Why?
Yeah.
Nothing made sense.
Why? Like who do they think cares anymore? Like Last
Michael Bay
Night
cares.
is the lowest grossing movie in the
Yeah.
franchise.
Yeah. It
And
is.
like, it's a multiple Razzie winner for 2017
Yes. I can't wait for it to.
to actually manifest.
Yeah.
But I think they are rebooting Transformers, right? The news doesn't say reboot.
It doesn't say reboot. It just says that
Huh.
they have plans
Yeah,
for
they're-
another film.
because
right.
I think this is where the G.I. Joe will enter the.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the plan was G.I. Joe, Micronauts, and Transformers will be in the same universe.
Yeah, that was the initial plan, but then G.I. Joe did so badly.
Yeah.
All right, here's something I'm excited for: Jurassic World 2,
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
which is coming out in June of this year. I'm a big fan of the Jurassic Park franchise.
Right.
I mean, the first one, yes. The second one, not so. The third one, oh my god.
I've watched 10 minutes of the third one.
Really?
Yeah, I
so,
couldn't.
so you don't know about the talking raptor in that?
What are you talking about?
There is. I will show it to you later on.
It's
Are you
like
serious?
There is a dream sequence.
it's like Planet of the Apes.
Alan Grant is sleeping and he dreams, and then the raptor looks at him and talks. Alan,
Are you serious?
yes. I told Del about it, and he went, "No." I was like, "Yes." Anyway,
Oh, wow.
there is a third movie in the works. Jurassic World 3
Ooh.
is set for a 2021 release.
Nice. I will support this franchise.
I'll support this
Really?
franchise.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because it's got one bad film, which is number 3
Okay.
out of 4. Or something.
True.
That's not. That's better than most franchises.
And the fifth one is looking good. I mean, Jurassic World 2.
I
I don't know.
Is it
The
Fallen
trailer,
Kingdom?
yeah, Fallen
Yeah.
Kingdom.
I
It does
know,
not
it
look.
looks-
It doesn't look interesting to me.
No, because I think
It looks more like a horror film now.
it
Why do you
does.
keep
It
bringing
does.
kids back to the island? I
No,
don't understand.
like that scene is like a city thing.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they're in that bowl thing.
In the trailer.
The capsule like vehicle.
It
Yeah.
could be an abandoned one. Like we don't know.
Because the theory of the second film in this Jurassic World franchise is that they go back to save the
animals,
dinosaurs,
yeah.
to get them
Yeah.
off the island.
And then there are kids as well.
Are they?
I thought I saw kids.
There was a kid,
like
but that,
one or two.
that was more of like a home setting. And also Lego released like their box sets for the
Yeah.
Jurassic World movie.
Hey, I did not know this.
And there was like a house,
Yeah.
and and the dinosaur was in the house, and so I'm guessing they bring it back to civilization, to like somewhere.
This
I didn't
sounds so
see this.
good.
This sounds like the second movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I am loving these parallels.
Okay.
I really, really like this franchise.
Okay, Jurassic World 2, can't wait. Mark Hamill,
Mm-hmm.
you've had some, you've met him.
I have. He's a great man.
Great man. Do you think he deserves a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Absolutely.
He doesn't have one yet.
No, apparently he
Wow.
doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
So he is going to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
But here's the thing, though. I thought that they had to pay for those,
You have to pay
like 25,000 US
30,
dollars,
30,000
US dollars.
You have to.
Wow,
You
Kai.
have to pay.
Wow.
For the installation of the star.
Oh,
But your
okay.
name will be pulled from a ballot. I could be wrong.
Okay.
Your name will be pulled from a ballot, and then the county of Los Angeles will decide whether or not you get the star.
So it's still subject to approval.
Ish, yes. Because
Ah.
if it was just you paying, I think Kim Kardashian would get one.
No. Anyway.
Right. So, but because you wanted one, you looked this up.
No,
30K.
because I was wondering how come Carrie Fisher doesn't have one.
Ah,
And she didn't want to pay.
she didn't,
Yeah.
Okay.
or she couldn't.
No, I think think she could afford
She
it.
easily.
Yeah.
Like the fans each across the world, $1
No,
each.
as in, yeah, that, like she doesn't want to pay it.
Like a
she doesn't want it.
No, and it's the eligibility thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So they do. There is an approval process
There
here.
is, definitely.
Okay. So because in my head it was like I'm famous enough. I want to have my name there. Here's $30,000. Let's have a ceremony.
Yeah.
Let's have a ceremony.
if honestly, if it was possible, I think the Kardashian clan would each have a star.
They could like share ones. No, they can't.
No, they won't. They don't even share one like house.
House. Yeah, that's true. All
They're
right.
not gonna share.
I'm surprised that you know these kind of information.
They're targeted towards me, Del.
Right.
Star Wars. We're all big fans here. Kai being maybe the biggest among all of us. he's looking away now.
Let's see his optimism now.
Don't worry. It's got nothing to do with The Last Jedi or Episode 9, which is coming next year.
Yeah.
This is about something that is iconic and it has appeared in every Star Wars film and a host of other films as well. Do you guys know what the Wilhelm Scream is?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Star Wars has abandoned this scream. They have not put it in any of the movies. It was not in Force Awakens,
No,
it was not in Rogue One, and it was not in Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But this is a scream where it's come to a point where I look out for it now
Yeah.
in every movie because it's in every movie.
Yeah. It's a joke in the industry.
Yeah, it's a joke in industry. For those of you listeners who don't know what the Wilhelm Scream is, it's that scream that sounds like a
Yeah.
that one where someone's falling in. Well, I can't do it, but
Is that one famous scream that's in like Indiana Jones
Yeah.
and a bunch of other films?
so yeah, they're abandoning it. And that
Is it okay? Is it in the first 6 movies?
They are.
Yes,
Star Wars?
they are.
Yeah, in all
Yeah.
6
Oh,
of them.
okay.
And they're all used by stormtroopers.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no. In episode 6, it was one of the guys on the barge, Jabba's barge.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Sarlacc pit.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay. We're gonna have to talk about this because it is the biggest news in the last couple of weeks. Black Panther.
Yes.
All right. Kevin Feige has said that Black Panther is Marvel's best film to date. Now that's his opinion. What do you think about this?
I think when he says best film, I don't think narratively. I think in terms of social impact,
Yeah.
because I think Black Panther is the most socially. It's a cultural phenomenon. You hear stories about celebrities buying out shows
Oh,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
underprivileged children. And
Yep.
it's definitely like we've not had this before for a comic book movie. So I think when he considers that and the energy put into, so for him this is the best one because it's got a larger ripple effect.
Yeah.
I guess so, yeah. And there's been a lot of people saying that, Black Panther it's a political movie. It's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be.
It is. That's the story.
Yeah.
Okay. Black Panther's Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman.
Yes.
I mean, I think he was a good sort of addition.
He
to...
cracks me up.
Yeah.
Does
Every
he?
time.
Spoiler alert for anybody who's not seen it. I feel like it's fair game. When T'Challa walks into the casino and Everett does the face, he's like, not this guy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I thought that was really funny. I thought that was good.
That's a callback to Civil War.
Yeah.
Because T'Challa was doing his own chasing
Yes.
of what was it?
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
Bucky, and he's like, no, let's do our job.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'll find him myself.
Yeah.
Just the first look of his face when he's sitting down at the table.
The table, yeah. That
That,
cracked
that
me.
already cracked me up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing though because he will return to the MCU. So he's staying. He's like the new Coulson.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
I
You cannot replace Coulson.
Well, obviously you can't replace
Dell's
Coulson.
having intense nostalgia.
Well, okay, for those of you who don't know, I mean the listeners, Agent Coulson was the one that was sort of threading the MCU together all through Phase 1. And
He was basically Fury's lackey.
Yeah.
Who met these heroes before Fury did.
Yeah, and he was like a fan because we see it in Avengers. He's like,
Yeah.
I have all your basebal cards and
Yeah,
this
like
and that.
Captain America.
And then, spoiler alert, but that's your fault. He dies in the first Avengers movie.
Spoiler alert, but that's your fault.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. It's been six years.
I like how you put it. I'm just
And
saying
the thing is, he's still alive though
in the TV series.
in the
Agents-
TV,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
in Agents of Shield. You think he should come back?
I feel like
No.
he should.
No.
I feel like he should.
I don't think we need, because now with how there's so many characters already.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to put in this drama of Agent Coulson is still alive. And how did he live? How did he survive that the death that we saw in Avengers? We saw him die. We
Yeah.
saw his body.
Project Tahiti.
Yeah, that's what he was
Yeah,
called.
but then
That's what it's
we
called.
know Project Tahiti, but we don't. A lot of the audience who watch movies don't because
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
watch the TV series.
They don't cross over.
Especially
to the
when
TV
the
series.
first season of the Agents of Shield was bad.
Yeah.
it only got
the first two
progressively.
seasons were bad.
I would argue it started getting better in the second one.
Okay.
I've watched one episode.
Of Agents of
of
S.H.I.E.L.D.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
The first one.
Yeah, when you had the flying car.
Yeah, right.
But it's okay. We have Everett Ross, and I think it's a good addition.
I like the guy.
yeah, since Civil War, he's also better known to be in the Lord of the Rings franchise.
I hope to
That
see
scene
him.
in Black Panther with him and Andy Serkis, I was at Bilbo and Gollum.
Yeah, that was a reunion for them.
And I hope to see him do more scenes with Doctor Strange, because then it's also
It's also Sherlock. Yeah,
Sherlock.
yeah,
you're right.
also
yeah.
Sherlock, because he
And he's
plays
also-
Watson as well.
He does,
in
yeah.
the BBC Sherlock series.
Yeah.
Okay, more Black Panther topics to talk about. Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, great performance, by the way.
Oh yeah.
He may have borrowed his costume from Vegeta,
Yeah, I see it.
from Dragon Ball.
Yes, I see
Because
it.
I sent this photo to Dell
Yeah.
a couple of days ago, and it was a meme, and it was a poster shot of Killmonger, from the front with his full costume, and right next to it is a cutout from the anime Dragon Ball anime Vegeta, and it does look
Yes, I see it.
almost identical.
Yeah, because of the blue and then the armor on top.
Yeah. You think they drew inspiration from it?
No,
I think it's a very good coincidence.
just a coincidence. Yeah.
It could also be a nod to his Fantastic Four armor. Oh, sorry, Fan Four stick.
Ooh,
Dell's getting like Vietnam flashbacks now.
the air in this room just got sucked out.
All right.
Fan for tick.
Fantastic. Last bit of news about Black Panther this week. Did you guys hear about the controversy about this theater? Didn't know that Wakanda was a fictional place. Anyway, there's a whole other story about that.
I have not heard of this.
We're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
This is different. Now, Black Panther fans keep calling or sending emails and messaging a town called WOUCONDA in Illinois.
No way.
Yes. Yep, they've been sending phone calls and emails and flooding the county office, and it's all pranks at this point.
Oh no.
That is funny.
Oh no.
I would feel bad, but it's the same thing with Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Springfield from
The Simpsons.
From The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I heard that somebody was offering cash to anyone who would go up to their president
Yep.
and ask him about Wakanda.
Yeah.
And see what his response is.
US and Wakanda relations.
Yeah.
Really?
And if he answers, there's a bonus.
Yeah, there's a bonus. Yeah.
Oh, how has this not happened yet? This is amazing.
Because the people who have access to the president of the US have certain credentials that I think they would like to keep, and I think and the money offered was something like $300.
Oh, right.
And that's
Yeah.
I don't
It's not
think-
worth your White
Yeah.
House press pass.
It's
Okay.
not worth it.
Maybe Khai can top it up.
$80. Here's an additional $80 minus PayPal charges.
Oh wait, that's Brunei dollars. So it's more like 50. All right, so that's the news this week on the Wayang Crew podcast. If you want to get in touch with us here on the show, you can do so via our Gmail account. That's thewayangcrew@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. And do check out our YouTube channel while you're at it. We're not going to have a movie to talk about this week because honestly, there's nothing showing. But
Oh,
then,
there are a lot of things showing at Times Cineplex.
yes, that
just
is
that-
true.
Greatest cinema in the country.
That's where I was gonna go. They are showing movies. They're still showing Black Panther. It's the second week of Black Panther being released, and a host of other movies. Although we thought we would kickstart this week a new segment over the next 10 weeks where we talk about the MCU movies that have come out since 2008. Now this is of course in running up to Marvel's Avengers: Infinity War, which is coming out in May. April
End of
22nd.
April, yeah.
So we have about 9 to 10 weeks to go, and we thought it'd be a nice thing to have a segment talking about 2 movies per week of the current MCU movies. We'll start from the very first movie, Iron Man,
The one that started everything.
the one that started it all.
And we didn't even know that this is happening. That
Right,
MCU is
yeah. It
happening
was
when-
just an Iron Man film.
Yeah.
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 I'll be honest, I did not even know that there was an Iron Man movie coming to cinemas because 10 years ago, I mean, being a comic book guy was not me. Like,
Yeah.
I did not follow any of the characters.
Right.
I had no idea who the Avengers were.
Right.
I knew of Iron Man, but then I was only exposed to it when I saw the first trailer.
Right.
And I saw it and went, wait a minute, that's Iron Man? That's cool.
Okay, so this should be an interesting piece of news. When I used to have computer class in high school, the number one website I used to visit was Vata's Comic Book News. And I knew about an Iron Man film coming out.
Okay.
But back then, it was Tom Cruise attached to the film.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so I kept
I
thinking,
don't remember this.
Tom Cruise? Like, that was my reaction. Because if he had played somebody else, I would have been okay. But, like, I went, Tom Cruise?
One thing's for sure, though. If Tom Cruise had played Tony Stark, there would be a lot of running.
There would be a lot of running, less flying. And what happened was, at Comic-Con 2006, there was a prototype of an Iron Man armor, which
The
is
suit.
which is nothing like what we saw on screen.
Okay.
It was influenced by the 1960s designs.
Well, so it's sort of like still the juggernaut looking thing.
Yes, it was
Like one.
a golden. So it was the golden and red armor,
Ah.
but very industrial. It had like rivets.
Oh, so this is the Iron Man armor that we know of, like from the cartoons from
Yes,
the from
yes.
the 60s, so from the 70s and
Yeah,
80s.
yeah. So what happened was, except where he had the eyes, he had like the Batman eyes, like sonar eyes. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
more slanted and it was a bit white and slash blue, but it looked very 60s and 70s. And I thought, this is unreal. They're not actually doing this. And then that entire idea, and Triple H was in talks to play Thor.
Hey,
Back then.
that might have worked actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was crazy because I thought, wow, they really are doing a bunch of Marvel movies. And then I think it was Jon Favreau, when he came on board, he said, no, let's do Iron Man properly.
Yeah.
And then we'll focus on the rest. And I had not heard about Robert Downey Jr. back then. Empire Magazine released a first look. I remember losing my mind. It was Robert Downey Jr., an actor I've never met, with a
Yeah.
goatee in a
Yep.
suit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I thought,
He just
wow.
looks like
I was like,
Tony Stark.
wow, this is it.
Yeah.
This is Tony Stark. And then that year, so this was 2007, and Comic-Con that year was very heavily Dark Knight influenced because Dark Knight would be coming out the next year, which is the same year as Iron Man. But there was that modified Iron Man helmet, which is what we know as the Mark III. The one that opens from...
Yeah.
So the signature helmet was revamped, and I thought, oh wow, this is so much farther than the Tom Cruise version of this film was going to be. So when I walked in, I thought this was just it. I thought this is just going to be an Iron Man film. And here we are 10 years later.
And we have a whole universe.
This studio is untouchable.
Yeah.
I mean, you go into... I remember walking out of Iron Man, and I could not believe how they brought it to life. Like, it's like it just came off the pages of the comic book.
Yeah.
The way the suit
Worked.
worked, and
then the
he
sound.
put it on.
Like-
The first time he launched a missile from his shoulder, I think,
Yeah.
at a tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
And
he
he
walked.
walked away, yeah.
Oh, I think I cried. I cried.
Fun fact, Marvel was not confident with that first Iron Man movie.
Sure.
They were
yeah.
not, yeah.
They released an animated movie the year before called
okay.
The Invincible Iron Man, and it's exactly the same story as the film.
I need to check that out.
Yeah, so except for the whole Ironmonger bit, it was the Mandarin was the bad guy.
Ah.
But the origin was there, and I remember thinking, they really are not confident with this movie. So they're just trying to increase Iron Man's
Yeah.
scope. Because I'm not kidding, Iron Man would not have been the first movie on anyone's list. to
No,
me.
because
No.
nobody knows who Iron Man
Yeah,
is.
it would have been Wolverine or Spider-Man.
Not
Yeah.
back in 2008.
No.
No.
That's for sure. Like Dell, I remember walking out of watching Iron Man, and I was blown away. And I was like, I can't get enough of this character now. Like, the suit is cool.
Yeah.
He's rich. All the characters in there are cool. Like, why have we not been making movies like this?
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then,
And it was a great box office success.
Yep.
yeah,
big.
no one had confidence in the movie.
No one did. Robert Downey Jr. was Jon Favreau's personal pick.
Yeah.
And the studio
The
was
studios, were not willing
Yeah,
to
they were not
greenlight
willing.
it at first. And they
Because
said,
yeah.
of its history. And
But wasn't it Terrence Howard though who introduced RDJ to the studio?
could be.
And then that's why every time now I watch Iron Man on Blu-ray and I see Terrence Howard, it's such an awkward feeling.
Right, yeah.
Because this is something that they didn't do right. They did not follow through with maybe the casting choice, or something happened and they couldn't solve it. And then now we have this gigantic elephant in the room.
yeah.
Same thing with the Edward Norton issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
but the thing is, I mean, the Edward Norton thing was, at least he was in his own standalone movie.
Yeah.
And there were no other
He had his
characters.
moment, yeah.
So then when they sort of transitioned into the Avengers, and then it was Mark
Mark
Ruffalo,
Ruffalo, yeah.
it's not as big of a...
As
Yeah.
now
it's
seeing Don Cheadle wear the War Machine
yeah,
armor.
because you still have Tony Stark, who's still Robert Downey Jr. You still have a whole host of other characters who are still played by the same actors, but they just switched one guy out.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And then Terrence Howard's last words in Iron Man was
Next time.
Next time,
Yeah,
baby.
he said next time,
It's
baby.
such a horrible line, but
Oh, he was looking at the Mark II suit.
The silver Mark II.
yeah, Mark II.
Yeah.
Which
Next
became
time.
War Machine.
Which
and
became-
again, so I grew up with that really bad 90s cartoon.
Yeah.
The one that went, Iron Man, you know? And I remember thinking War Machine was the character that mattered to me the most.
Yeah.
So when Terrence Howard said "Next time, baby" in Iron Man 1, I screamed in the cinema. I went, yes, like they're gonna do War Machine.
Yeah.
You know, and then in the second, so hence why I love the second one is because when I finally see Rhodes in the suit, that still gives me goosebumps.
yeah.
Okay.
So that, I mean, after walking out of the cinema, I didn't know there's a
Post-credits.
end-credit scene, right?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I would have waited.
No one knew.
No
Yeah.
one knew because the only other movie to have done post credits before that was X-Men 3.
Yeah.
And nobody thought nobody thought this would happen. And when the DVD came out 4 or 5 months later, my best friend copied the link from YouTube, put it on my wall, and he said, "We're both idiots for not waiting."
Right.
For not waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, there were murmurings within the industry and the comic book fandom that Samuel L. Jackson was sort of seen around there, but no one actually knew what he was doing there. And his car drove right into the
lot, and then he
into
shot.
the soundstage. And
Because
he
this was
shot the scene.
before Disney bought the franchise.
Yeah, this was
was
before.
when it was under Paramount, I think.
That's true. Yeah, this is way before Disney got involved.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know whether did they actually plan out the MCU when they did this movie?
Okay, here's a little bit of a fun fact about Samuel L. Jackson's portrayal of Nick Fury. About 3 years before that, which was the year 2005, there was... Sorry, no, I'm making a mistake. 2004. One of my friends said, as a joke, he said, if I ever see Sam Jackson as Nick Fury, I will give you $100.
Ooh.
The reason for this was because Sam Jackson was the visual influence.
Yes.
Yeah. For the comic book.
For the Ultimates,
Yeah.
which was an alternate line of Marvel stories, which were amazing.
Because before that, Nick Fury was a white guy.
That's the other elephant in the
Yeah.
room. He was David Hasselhoff in the 90s. So Sam Jackson didn't want anything from this visual representation. He said, I only have one condition, is that if you make a movie out of this,
Right.
I play the guy.
That's in the contract?
That's in the contract.
Wow.
It's well known among comic book fans as it's myth. It's like, wow, what if one day the guy from Pulp Fiction plays Nick Fury?
Yeah.
And so for me to miss out at the post credits of Iron Man, I kick myself
Okay.
for the next year.
Right.
All right, so that's Iron Man. That was like ground zero for the MCU. It introduced us to the first character that we ever saw from Marvel on screen. In a live action movie, Tony Stark as Iron Man. Too bad that Rhodes or Terrence Howard did not come back to reprise the role, but he was changed out in the second movie. We'll talk about that on the next episode. But yeah, I mean, I could still sit down and watch Iron Man.
Oh yeah,
Like start to finish. Like
Marvel Phase 1 has tons of replay value.
yeah, it's still a good movie, like a good standalone movie. I especially love the scene where he's in the cave and he works with Jensen to build the
yeah.
Mark 1, and then he escapes, but then he fails.
Yeah.
And then he crashes. You see that and you can tell I'm a Iron Man fan.
Yeah. Okay, so what is your favorite point in the film?
Iron Man 1?
Yes.
Favorite point in the film is when he completes the Mark II suit. And
Right,
He
right.
takes
In the
it up.
garage.
And it does
Yeah.
the joyride.
Yes, and he
Yeah.
does the joyride and
Right.
he freezes up and this and that, and then I
Oh,
don't know, that was like
right.
it was a very uplifting
Yeah,
kind
and then
of,
he crashes and then the robot was a few minutes later.
yeah,
Right.
and then,
right.
yeah, that
What
was
about you, Del?
The point where I cried, I suppose.
Which was?
Which was him
the
walking
tank.
away from
Right.
the tank.
walking away from the tank. Okay,
I thought that when he did that, it was like there's no words to describe
like
it.
this is legit.
Yeah,
now.
this is like even better than X-Men because before this it was X-Men.
Right.
Yeah.
My favorite part is when we meet that annoying agent who keeps trying to talk to Tony Stark. Strategic
yeah.
Homeland Intervention.
Yep,
Yeah.
It's like you guys need a shorter name.
No, yeah, because I kept turning to my best friend and I said, because in the E stood for something else than it did in the comic book.
Yeah. Okay.
It's supposed to be extraterrestrial.
Okay.
And I turned and I said, this could be the movie version of S.H.I.E.L.D. And at the end he goes, you can just call it S.H.I.E.L.D. I screamed. I was like, oh, wow. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s involved. And it's magic, that
Okay.
first movie.
So that's Iron Man. You know, all of us, I think, big fans of Iron Man. Like
we
the
like
first movie.
Yes.
Definitely.
And then we had the second movie in the MCU, which was sort of where people went, okay, they're making another movie with this character. It's the Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
Right? I don't remember a lot about this movie. I do remember the important bits, especially the last fight scene, which we'll get to later on.
Right.
With Dooms. What was
No,
it?
Abomination.
Abomination.
Doomsday.
Sorry.
Wrong franchise.
Wrong franchise. But yeah, what did you think about the Incredible Hulk?
I went in that time, 2008, and I didn't know they were connected.
Yeah.
So of course I didn't stay for
We're
the
just
end
happy
credits.
to get these movies back then.
Right. But then I was wondering, why are we getting another Hulk movie, right? We just had the Hulk, which I loved.
Yeah.
Because
That was played by Eric Bana.
Eric Bana and directed by Ang Lee.
Ang Lee,
and
yep.
we had the gorgeous
Jennifer
Connelly.
Yep.
Definitely. I'm with you on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I think a lot of people didn't like the Hulk. After the Incredible Hulk came out, they bashed even more on the Hulk.
Yeah. On the first Hulk movie.
The first Hulk, which, Ang Lee directed. And
Which was still a Universal film.
Yep.
yes. But then, going into the Incredible Hulk, Edward Norton, one of my favorite actors at that time.
Yep.
I didn't like his portrayal. It's sad to say. But also, I found a lot of issues with the plots, certain plots, which in the end, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, because
Okay.
Iron Man was so great.
Yeah, yeah.
And then at the end of it, I was wondering, I still like the Hulk and not the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, okay.
The first
The
one.
first Hulk.
Eric Bana one.
Yeah. Because I don't know. For me, I'm somebody who could sit through very slow build-ups in cinemas. So for watching the Hulk, it played more like a psychological drama rather than a superhero movie. So that's where I found more appreciation for it. It's not a typical superhero movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the problem I had with Edward Norton as Bruce Banner is that he sort of gives off this wave of like, he's a bit cocky. He's not conflicted inside.
Yeah.
He's still sort of like cool and suave and like
Exactly.
even
That's why
like- yeah.
Banner had a very different take. And
Yeah.
Banner, you can see the conflict.
Banner had the twinkle in the eyes.
Yeah.
Edward Norton was like I said, he still comes off as a little bit cocky and
Yeah. Let's hear what Khai has to
Khai?
say.
I don't
because
know.
he's
Like,
disagreeing.
okay, so the Incredible Hulk is my top 3
Ooh,
in the
wow.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
Again, I come from a background where I watched the cartoons, read the books, and there are certain elements to each character that you will always remember. For me, when I watch Iron Man, I always remember he's the guy who started wars and he was a victim of his own creations.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is echoed across the story. When he was just a guy making weapons, the weapons caused the Vietnam War in the 60s. So, he was created during the Vietnam War.
back in those times.
Yeah. So it's been revised to be the Afghan War, the Iraq War, and he falls victims to his own weapons.
Yeah. Okay.
When he makes the Iron Man suit, people start copying the Iron Man suit, and then the technology turns against him. So Iron Man from the 60s has always been, he creates something, that thing destroys him.
Okay.
And it stood true throughout. For Captain America, it's a moral compass issue. Where is he aligned with the American government in certain views?
Yeah. Okay.
Back in the 40s, yes, he was punching Hitler. Then the 60s happened, and he was told, you need to reprimand these hippies, these love generation. And he goes, no, they're expressing themselves in a peaceful way.
Yeah.
I will not do this.
Yeah.
So, so for me, the Hulk has always been how an intelligent man's ego, because he's got a big ego. In the comic, Bruce Banner is a jerk.
Okay.
So it's how an intelligent man's ego is always neutralized by his feelings for this one girl called Betty.
Yep.
And she's always been the thing that calms him down when he's the Hulk.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
when I walked in, I thought, so physically, Edward Norton is perfect because Bruce Banner in the comics is this scrawny, malnourished guy.
Yeah. He's like thin and
He's very thin.
Yeah.
So when I saw him, I thought he's physically perfect. And then so he was in Brazil in the canning factory.
Yep. Yep. And his blood got into the
drink.
Yeah.
Because he had
Which
gamma.
killed Stan Lee.
Yeah, that was funny. And they were riling him up because they kept saying gringo, gringo, which means, white boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was begging them, as please, I beg you, don't piss me off.
Yeah. You wouldn't like me.
When I'm pissed off. And I saw this was very him. Because the question always was, is he the Jekyll or is he the Hyde?
Yeah.
Like, which one
Right.
is it? Which
Right.
side is it?
Okay.
But I didn't fall in love with the movie until he was at that pizzeria. And then
Right.
Betty saw him and then he rushed out the back. And then she followed him all the way to the back because he's been back in New York for a while.
Yeah.
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 And Betty followed him all the way back, and then she goes, Bruce, and then he stops, and then he turns, and I go, this is it. Like, this is is the crux of it. So I'm a sucker for the Incredible Hulk. I do think that villain fist fight at the end was not the best.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't.
With Abomination, I thought it was just another Hulk.
An uglier.
Yeah, and
Hulk,
the
yeah.
only saving grace was when he said Hulk smash, and he smashed the ground.
Yeah.
And then
there was a
the-
Sonic
the-
Clan
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and then
See, those things work so well in comic books, but when you introduce it
Right.
like that
Right.
into the movie without any like a prior learning or education about how he's using his powers, he just clapped his hands to put out fire. I couldn't. It's not realistic to me.
Right.
okay,
And
okay.
also I have a big problem with how Abomination came about
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
definitely.
movie because
he was the rival soldier British guy, and then there was that.
what's his name again?
Tim Roth, the actor.
Tim, the character.
Oh, I can't remember. The
I
character.
can't remember.
But he's
Right.
he's part of that
Elite
that-
group.
that-
Yeah,
under-
he's leading the
Yeah.
soldiers to capture
So
Hulk.
wait, he gets a serum and he becomes
which was
super
a
strong?
variation of
the
the
super soldier
from
serum,
Yeah.
Captain America.
right?
Yeah.
So he couldn't defeat Hulk, and in this in the university
Yep,
where
yep,
they
yep,
teach,
yep,
right?
yeah.
And then he walked up to the Hulk, and then the Hulk kicked
him and he flew.
which is when then he kind of turned into the Abomination
Like-
after that.
like
Yeah.
every
that was
bone
like the
in
problem.
his body
was
Yeah.
shattered.
Yeah.
Why would he do that though? Why would he walk up to the Hulk and let the Hulk kick him? I just don't see the point.
Ah, okay.
So that didn't make any sense to me. And there were a lot of these little things in this movie that I didn't like.
They were not like logical.
Yeah, they were quite illogical. So,
Right.
but overall, the movie felt very Marvel. It is. If
Yeah.
you watch it today, you'll see how Marvel has their stamp on the tone and the pacing. It's just that the director, I didn't like what he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
They also wanted to introduce another character, Mr. Red.
oh,
Mr.
right,
Red?
yeah.
Or is it Mr. Blue?
No,
Which
the
scientist
leader,
that-
the leader,
The
when he-
leader, right?
yeah.
The leader. They wanted to introduce him, and I thought that failed quite
Yeah.
miserably.
I was quite sad because I couldn't catch his name, but when the serum started dropping on his cut and then his head started to swell up,
Yeah.
I thought this is the leader.
Yeah,
I
Okay.
was quite excited at that.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I don't have, like I said, I don't remember very much from the movie. I think I need to have a sit down and watch it again.
It's also a completely different character than the Hulk we know now.
Yeah.
Oh, completely,
completely
yeah.
different
Completely
character.
different.
And also because they've already formed a relationship between Hulk and Thunderbolt Ross,
Yeah.
and that relationship didn't carry forward to the Avengers
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it didn't. It
So-
was just sort of dropped. And
The only reference to that movie was when Iron Man called his Hulkbuster armor Veronica.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Because Betty and Veronica, that's the
Right.
joke.
right.
Ah, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so when he called it Veronica, I wondered why. And then in the deleted scene, Liv Tyler played Betty.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo was talking about Betty to someone.
Yeah.
And then Tony said, "Oh, you should help me work on Veronica."
Yeah.
And then Hulkbuster was Veronica.
Yeah. So this is the movie which I thought Marvel could just sweep it under the rug, not mention it ever. They didn't need to bring back Thunderbolt Ross in Avengers 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
didn't see the
Civil War.
point.
No, Civil War. Yeah, Civil War.
Civil
Civil War. Oh,
He was
so
not-
Civil
yeah.
War. Yeah,
Civil
yeah,
War.
yeah. Civil War.
He was the one showing the video.
Yeah.
This is what
I
you
don't know.
guys
I was happy. I was like, "Oh, there's my, there's the bad guy from my
Because-
third favorite Marvel film."
because he's the only guy from that movie that
Yeah,
came
they
back.
should have
Yeah.
brought back Liv Tyler.
Yeah, have some,
some
more
to some
continuity.
capacity at least.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they write out the love interest like nobody's business.
Yeah,
No, I think they couldn't bring back Liv Tyler's character because there's already a romantic relationship between Black Widow and,
yeah.
and
not
Mark Ruffalo.
before Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
Not before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so they could have still.
Like, it's the same thing to do with Jane Foster in all the crossover
Yep.
films.
Yeah.
Where's Jane? Oh, she's safe.
Yeah.
She's somewhere.
She's
So
somewhere.
see, none of the Avengers movies mention Betty. So that's why
Yeah.
I'm wondering why bring back Thunderbolt Ross. Just have this Hulk as another character altogether from the previous one.
I think it's also because in Marvel tradition, after we learned from Iron Man, if you stayed for the post credits of the Incredible Hulk,
Yep.
Yes,
Thunderbolt Ross and Tony Stark share a scene.
Sure.
Yeah. They share a scene.
Where they talk about this team that they're
Yep.
getting together.
Yeah,
So I think they just didn't want to throw that away. If anything, that's the important bit in the film.
Still, it didn't impact that much going forward as well.
Okay, so yeah, today we talked about the first Iron Man film and the first, well, not the second technically, but the first in the MCU to
Right.
The Incredible Hulk.
The one and only.
The one and
I don't think
only.
they'll make a sequel for this.
No, there's not gonna be another Hulk film.
Yeah,
There will be.
there's a lot of like red tape in between Universal
there is.
Yeah.
and Disney and Marvel, and even for the Hulk to appear now, there has to be tons of contracts and
That's true,
requirements
yeah.
just for the character to appear. But yeah, we do hope to see where this goes.
Yeah.
Like in the future, will Marvel get back the character from Universal? We don't know.
And will Mark Ruffalo finally have his solo film?
Before he gets too old.
Yeah, because he's been a great co-anchor in the rest of the films.
Yep.
In the first Avengers, Ultron, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He's been a very good supporting character, but it's a shame that he's not his own lead.
Also, another contrast from Edward Norton's Bruce Banner and Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner is that the humor.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was no humor with Edward Norton.
Not
Yeah.
really, no.
Yeah, and then now Bruce Banner is he's a bona fide funny guy.
He is, yes.
Which I don't
Which
know.
he can play serious as well. Like with the when he delivered the line, "I'm always angry."
Yeah.
In Avengers, I thought that was really well done. The build up to it as well.
But it was like a small smile on the side
No,
of his
not
face.
really. I don't think he's smiling.
Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's what we've talked about. The first in this series where we talk about the MCU movies. Today we talked about Iron Man, the first Iron Man film, and The Incredible Hulk. Join us next week as we talk about two more movies, the next two in Phase 1 of
Yes.
the MCU. We don't have an upper yet this week because, well, quite frankly, we've been watching Marvel movies.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So Iron Man and The Incredible Hulk. I'd like to thank my guest Khai for
Thanks
joining
for
us.
having me, guys.
From Fanboy Infinite. If you haven't heard about them, check them out on all the social medias. And we have a new addition to the show where we give our guests t-shirts.
All right, I was waiting for this since just
Okay,
now.
an official Wayang Crew t-shirt.
This shirt looks amazing to everybody listening right now.
We'll be posting it up on our Instagram.
Nice.
Let us know if you guys would like a Wayang Crew t-shirt. Of course, not free. we'll be discussing
Support local.
Support local. Yeah, so thanks, Khai. And of
Thank you
course,
for having me, guys.
thanks, Del, for this episode. This is Kevin signing off for the Wayang Crew. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.